As many of you know, the international community, including the U.S., has placed a September 2011 target date for the creation of a Palestinian state. Certainly, the West and the European Union would like to see a negotiated settlement, but Palestinian officials have refused to engage in peace talks because they now realize they can receive a better deal through a United Nations mandated resolution. Over the last few weeks, I have been reading various Israeli newspapers that believe this September UN recognition of a Palestinian state will lead to a forced peace accord. When I say forced, Israel may be militarily forced into withdrawing from all UN-sanctioned West Bank land mandated for a Palestinian state. Here is a realistic scenario for a forced UN withdrawal written by Dr. Yacov Tabak for Israel National News. And it says, after extensive preparation of the apparatus of statehood and with widespread recognition by a growing list of countries of an independent state of Palestine with borders defined by the 1967 ceasefire line, the Palestinians turned in September 2011 to the UN Security Council to be recognized as an independent state within the pre-1967 armistice lines, measuring that the Ramat Eshkol neighborhood of Jerusalem, as well as many others, will be part of a Security Council recognized Palestine. If the U.S. does not veto this resolution and it passes, alternatively, if there is a veto, the Palestinians turn to the UN General Assembly, using the 1950s Uniting for Peace tactic, which enabled the U.S. to engage in the Korean War, although a Russian-Chinese veto had paralyzed the Security Council on this issue and received their approval. The Palestinians then turn to the State of Israel and request immediate evacuation of its nearly 650,000 citizens from their state. Israel offers to discuss the matter. The Palestinians refuse any discussion and refer the issue back to the Security Council, requesting that they act to remove these interlopers post haste from their state. After a short time, the Security Council and/or Quartet decide that the festering wound of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict has persisted long enough and decide to settle the matter once and for all by sending an expeditionary force to Israel to carry out the evacuation forcibly. The deadline for Israel acting is by January 15, 2012. On or about that date, if Israel does not begin to seriously evacuate its citizens, and it won't, an expeditionary force consisting of contingents from both Christian and Muslim countries lands on the shores of Israel. The force consists of at least 185,000 combat soldiers and is well armed enough to counter the IDF in whatever conflict configuration that might develop. It has been demonstrated on the internet that there is an elaborate U.S. Armed Forces base in Israel, located near Shaham and straddling the Green Line, and the force may be quartered there. This base was given to President George W. Bush by Prime Minister Sharon on the occasion of the Second Iraq War about 5 years ago. For a detailed description of this extraterritorial U.S. presence in Israel, see the below website link, including many pictures. Dr. Tabak goes on to say that he believes U.S. President Barack Obama will not veto the UN Security Council resolution, and that the Quartet will decide to use force if Israel does not act by January 15, 2012. The Bible says in Daniel 9:27 that a man known as the Antichrist will one day burst on the scene and confirm a peace treaty between himself, Israel, and many nations. Most Bible prophecy experts believe that the many nations will comprise of the Islamic world. There are others in the prophetic world who believe a war between Israel and their Islamic neighbors is the next major conflict on the prophetic horizon. Whether that is true or not is still yet to be played out. Personally, I believe come September 2011, Israel will be fully briefed by the West and the European Union as to the eventual outcome. If this does turn out to be the correct scenario, I have to believe they will choose to withdraw from all UN-mandated West Bank land, given the unsurmountable alternative. In exchange, they will be promised security and peace with much of the Islamic world. Of course, we as Christians know the peace accord the Antichrist brings will be short-lived. Are we living on the cusp of the prophesied peace accord the Antichrist will bring? Is the Lord about to rapture the church and plunge the world into a time of tribulation? Nobody knows for sure, but looking at the many prophetic signs around us, it seems to be drawing closer by the day. This is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.